What's up, FTCs? We're going to start another little segment called Prediction Bingo for all the PLEs coming up.
And what that means for the FTCs is we will be creating new bingo cards for every PLE so you guys can play too.
BINGO. Let's go.
What's up, FTC? Back like we never left. Back with another Raw Results episode, May 5th.
And guys, we're starting out with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman having a little conversation.
Pretty much it was just back and forth, to be honest. It wasn't like nothing fancy. They tried to pretty much scheme their way into Seth Rollins getting a world title match, right?
Now, they played mind games, and they basically got Jey Uso to agree to give Seth Rollins a shot for the title in the main event.
Which I thought was crazy, because I was like, dang, isn't he supposed to be facing Logan Paul at Backlash? Like, if he loses, you know what I mean? Which he might. He very well could. That'd be Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins, I guess. So I was a little like, dang, this is crazy right here. Next up, though, we had Penta defeating JD McDonough. This was a really good match, and they had they had outside interference coming in. All the Judgment Day was out there with JD McDonough and everything, but they also had a little help. Penta had a little help. So, I mean, Chad Gable got out there and everything. Like it just kind of went south at the end, and then Penta ended up catching the dub. But the match went back and forth.
Good to see JD back and doing well. I mean, this is what you get from the Judgment Day. It's just the way it is. And we got Chad Gable showing up to get his little lick back because Penta decided he's going to kick him in the face. So that's just how it goes, man. Sheamus defeats Austin Theory.
Yeah, and it was crazy the manner he returned, too. They was talking backstage. Grayson Waller was supposed to have a match with Sheamus or whatever, right? And he was like, oh, I'm not fighting him. He was like, Austin Theory will. And then, he pretty much threw Austin Theory under the bus to get side-swapped by Sheamus. But Austin Theory kind of shined in the match, too. I was, really proud of Austin Theory because, out of the two, I feel like Austin Theory is the better one anyway. And, against somebody like Sheamus, I just feel like, it was really good.
Yeah, I'm a big Sheamus fan. Austin Theory needs a chance to really show people what he can do. I feel like he's being limited pretty hard on the role they have him in. But, I'm sure there's a reason for it. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, they exchange some words and get into a big fight right ahead of Backlash. And call me crazy, but this is one of the feuds at Backlash that I'm actually kind of excited for.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good match at Backlash, but the build up to it, it's just another Raw for me. It's obviously they're going to have a brawl and everything, and security's going to pull them off of each other. But I do like how, it doesn't necessarily seem like Becky may beat her. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily seem like Lyra's going to lose to Becky or whatever. It kind of seems like, it's up in the air. This one's going to be one you have to watch to see who wins. But then next up, we have the Women's World Champion, Io Sky, going against Roxanne Perez, the new prodigy, up and coming, in a non-title match. Io Sky beats her, but this match was really good. Dude, the women's division, just bringing these few girls up that they brought up from NXT, that helped it out a lot, a shit ton. Because, we haven't got to see Io Sky versus, any of these fresh, we've seen her versus everybody else. I thought that match was really good, too.
I thought so as well. I like Roxanne Perez pretty well. Io Sky is the GOAT, though, of the women's division on Raw.
Yeah, for sure. And then after, Io picks up the win or whatever, Julia or whatever, the new girl that came up with Roxanne Perez, they attacked Io Sky or whatever. And Rhea Ripley wasn't there to help Io because she's off doing stuff in Australia for whatever's coming up in there. So I don't know like what that's setting up. I guess Io Sky will probably face the other girl next week.
Something along those lines. Like, this ain't the last we've seen of the NXT girls. They'll be back.
Yeah, for sure.
Rusev versus Otis, and he kind of just dismantles the entire Alpha Academy.
Yeah, that was the definition. That match right there is the definition of Rusev crush, and nobody even had to tell him to. He just did it.
That's just the
He was
way
explosive.
it goes.
Yeah, for sure, dude. He
Poor
was
little
explosive.
Maxine couldn't do anything.
No, she's just standing out there freaking out, and then after after Otis lost a submission or whatever, Tozawa tries to come in there and he tells Rusev, he's like, "Come on, I'll fight you right now." And he's like, "No, I ain't fighting you, little guy." And he walks out of the ring or whatever. And then Tozawa's like, they do that little thing where Tozawa's checking on him or whatever. And he comes in and he murders him too.
Yeah,
And I was like, well, that's the end of them.
I knew Rusev was coming back just off the camera angle.
But yeah, that was pretty good too, because I like the storyline and the way they're going with Rusev. I like it.
We're gonna have to really give it some more time and just see what happens here.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, though, we had a Gunther and a Pat McAfee segment, and pretty much they were just exchanging words before their match at Backlash. And Pat McAfee's like saying, "Oh well, you're a bully, and I stand up to bullies. I might get my ass kicked at Backlash, but I'm still going to stand up for what I believe in." And then Gunther's pretty much like, "I'm gonna make you look stupid in front of all your family and friends."
Yeah, basically, man, it's the same thing we've heard. I mean, Pat McAfee's not a wrestler or whatever. Gunther is.
Yeah.
It's like this match is obviously stacked one way on paper. So, there's only so many times they really have to tell us that.
So I guess we'll just see what happens at Backlash on that one.
Big main event up next. For the World Heavyweight Champion, we've got Jey Uso defeating Seth Rollins.
Technically, Seth Rollins won via disqualification, but still, Jey Uso kept his title, which I didn't expect at the beginning of the night. I'm not even going to lie to you, Devin. I thought that when they set it up like they did, I was like, oh shit, Breaker's going to he's going to help Seth Rollins win it. You know what I mean? And then I instantly I seen it. I was like, Seth Rollins is gonna win the world title, and then Braun Breaker's gonna win the Money in the Bank, and then that's gonna be how they break up. You know what I mean? Like something like that. And then Paul Heyman's gonna have to choose between Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. But that didn't happen. So I don't know what's going on with this storyline with the Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker stuff. But Seth Rollins lost technically. So what happens when when they get back to the back, and what do they talk about then? He's supposed to be making the way for these guys or whatever, right? So what's next for them, dude?
I don't know. I know I like the way they're presenting Braun Breaker, like the guy who doesn't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the false finishes in the match. CM Punk come back to kind of set things up with Seth Rollins.
Sami Zayn came back and targeted Breaker.
I mean, I feel like, of course, it's always going to lead back up to CM Punk and Seth Rollins for a title eventually. And then probably Roman Reigns and CM Punk for a title after that. But
and then Jey Uso's just kind of in the middle of that right now.
But I don't think it's going to be for a while. I think we might have to wait till next Mania.
Yeah. But then after all this little stuff happens, CM Punk comes back, and he goes straight at Seth Rollins with a chair, and that's what gets the disqualification or whatever. But who cares? All you little iPad kids, CM Punk just made sure your champion stayed champion. By the way, don't be mad at him. But after that, Logan Paul came out and he knocked Jey Uso out again. After Raw was gone off the air.
I know he's got a metal plate or something in his hand.
Yeah, and he just keeps knocking everybody out for some reason, one tapping them. But I think, I don't think Logan Paul is going to beat Jey Uso. I just don't think that would work.
I don't think
Because,
so
like,
either, but people would definitely hate him if he did.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he'd have a lot of heat off of it, but I don't know if it's worth it right now. But hey, FTCs, what's going to happen in this Gunther and Pat McAfee match at Backlash? Is Pat McAfee about to get the beating of his life?
And guys, who is next to suffer the wrath of Rusev?
And Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, will this match lead up to all the hype?
Catch us in the next episode to find out.
And that's about it for this episode.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
As for the fan connection, we're out of here.